Jordan, do you feel like those are balls you should catch?
Yeah, I feel like that's 100% on me. And that was early in the game, so I feel like if I make them plays, we win, no doubt. No doubt.
How much, with the passing game, do you feel like the rhythm, how do you feel about the rhythm of the passing game right now?
I feel like if we just stay ahead of the chains, everything would just flow. We did a good job running the ball, so we just left a lot of plays out there, to be honest. Honestly, we just left a lot of plays out there. We had guys running open. We just ain't connect.
And how do you kind of look at it when, obviously JJ's getting some throws into you, but there's some throws are not getting to you. And so how do you kind of look at those?
As a quarterback, he already got a lot of stuff that's going on. It's hard. He got defenders in his face, so I feel like it's always on the receiver.
Jordan, what's the wave of emotion when you score the touchdown or go up and then lose in the way that you did?
It's the NFL, man. Sometimes it's just the way things go. You got to do a better job early on and just finish the game.
Hey Jordan, the one that was picked off in the end zone in the second quarter, what was your take on that? Was the ball not what was your perspective?
I'll say that's on me too as well. I'm watching the ball as they come in. I just got to go make a play on it. I can't let somebody pick the ball out.
Jordan, what were the conversations like during the game with Justin on the sideline? Just you guys talking throughout the game?
He was just making sure I kept my head up. He was telling me the ball's going to come to us, and when it does, make a play. So, he kept us motivated throughout this game right here.
And what's the feeling about players, not just receivers, but the whole locker room about JJ and the way he's playing right now?
What's that?
What's the feeling, sort of, not just about the receivers, but with the entire locker room on JJ and how he's playing right now?
Yeah, I feel like he's doing a great job. That's what we all feel like. It's on us. He's a young quarterback in this league. It's a tough league to win. So I feel like it's on the supporting cast around them to help this thing go.
Thanks.
Thank you. To figure it out as an offense is starting faster and then not having to rely on moments like that to go down and score and have a bunch of guys make plays. So.
How do you stop from pressing when you guys are having a hard time in the passing game, and just to kind of keep your emotions even keeled?
I think you just go one play at a time. You can't press, because if you do in this league, that's when bad things happen. And, that's when you do things that our quarterback doesn't know what you're doing, and then that's when things become bad. But I think we just have to take one play at a time, do all 11 doing our jobs, and move forward from this. I mean, again, you lose the turnover battle 2-0. It's a tough game to win, and with thin margin of error, and that's what it came down to, was a thin margin of error.
Within that 2-minute up-tempo drive, you guys seemed to kind of ginsu through. What was the difference there? Do you like that up-tempo? Did you say in the 2-minute all the time?
Yeah, I mean, we were able to move the ball pretty well there. It was nice to get that first one, get it rolling, break the backer a little bit, take the inside. I think there's some things obviously we want to fix on that, but I think getting that play started, and then Jordan on the fourth down, and then just keep moving the ball forward in those situations, and it gets the quarterback in a rhythm, gets everybody in a rhythm. So, and then you keep playing from there.
TJ, how did you see kind of JJ navigate that one? I mean, it got tough for long stretches there, and just trying to keep his composure as he's working through and figuring things out.
The game you're talking, or the last? I think he kept coming over to the sideline, just saying, it's on. We're good. We got to keep rolling. We'll move the ball, and next drive, and that was kind of our mentality each time, and that's our mentality every time we play a game. Is hey, if that play didn't work, move on, and look forward to the next one. They're all 11 doing their job, and then we'll get it rolling. Because all we need is a little spark in this offense, and that we can roll just like we did there at the end.
Do you feel like is this team sometimes beating itself a little bit, whether it is a turnover, drop pass, missed pass, when someone's open? Just like the mistakes are sometimes self-inflicted more than what the other team is doing to you guys.
Yeah, I think that's very evident. Obviously, you lose the turnover battle 2-0. Again, we had a couple false starts in some critical situations, and then again, like the biggest thing is just going to the line of scrimmage, doing your job, knowing what you got going on, and just trying to be on the same page as the quarterback and be on the same page with the guy next to you. And I think, that's what we got to get back to. That's what we got to rely on. And it's not something that we're doing in the week, and I think so. We had a great week of preparation this week. We had a great week of preparation last week, and then I think, I'm not really sure. It was something that needs to get figured out, but we've got the right guys in this locker room. We've got the right guys in that huddle.
We scored one touchdown the whole entire game. Really only got there down there one time, and that was off of a special teams play. So. The frustrations are there. It happens. It's part of football, a part of growing, and a part of figuring things out. We just got to do better all around. Just every phase, executing the plays, and just coming out there with that sense of urgency and wanting to win and having to win. So that's the main focus, and we just got to go back to work. Figure things out, and come back next week and ready to work.
What do you think took so long for this offense to get going in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm not 100% sure. Of course, I got to look at the film and see everything that's going on through the play. But my main objective is go out there and get open and catch the ball, make big plays, and create that spark for the offense. So, just got to do better all around and execute our plays, just like I said.
Justin, how did you see JJ navigate that game? I mean, there was plenty of times in the game where he's missing throws and turning it over, but then at the end, making some plays too. Just how do you evaluate a young quarterback figuring this out? Yeah, I mean, it wasn't, the best game for all of us. All of us, I felt like we should have played better all in all. But at the end of the day, when it all counted and it all mattered, JJ stepped up. So that's the main key focus of it. Of course, there are things to work through. Of course, there's things to fix on the offensive side of the ball, and we feel that we have to help the defense out a lot more than what we're doing. So just like I said, we got to look at the film, see the different things that we need to fix and work on, and come back ready to work. You're a vet in this league, and you've been in here. You want to win right now. Is it difficult to kind of go through these processes when you have a young guy that needs to learn on the job and make mistakes and kind of go through things? Yeah, I mean, everybody feels like it's difficult. It's not something that's we're kind of keeping under the rug or anything. Yes, it's difficult, but as a team, as a captain, as a leader of this team, I have to be the first one out there. I got to be the head first, leading us into that direction of winning, of being where we need to be. So if that takes taking JJ out and getting more time with him and creating that connection with him, then that's what I got to do. But I have to figure what I have to do in order to get us over that hump. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you.
Scenario is making tackles, the entire in coverage, whatever it may be, whatever the call is. We've been in good calls. We just got to execute better.
Harrison, what does it mean to have your wife and then kids going to be the day with blowing the horn?
Yeah, that's something special that will be pretty cool to look back on for a long time. My wife was pretty nervous, so I'm glad it looked like she did a good job. The kids as well. So it was pretty cool. It's kind of like weird that when I'm 23 getting drafted here, you don't think about those things. So yeah, it's pretty special.
Your son didn't look too happy at first going up to the
Yeah, he wasn't happy all day. I saw him on the field earlier, and I think he had dropped his ball he was looking for. He'll be all right.
So what's the wave of emotions at the end there, seeing the go-ahead touchdown and then losing on the field like that?
Yeah, it's like you said, it's kind of a wave of emotions, but everyone has an individual job to do, so try to make them lose some yards there or make it a harder kick. It's kind of what you try to do there on defense. Just kind of, yeah.
I know I'm probably asking the annoying question here, but is there something to be taken away with just the way that this locker room stays together through adversity? Like a couple, Isaiah and Theo were talking about that, just staying together, not pointing fingers and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's really like there's no option. It's the only thing you can do. Yeah. It's the only way to improve and give yourself a chance. Like anything else is not productive. So it's really, there's an emotional aspect to it, and there's also just a logical aspect to it, and that's what we got to do. We got a good group of guys that want to do that, so that makes it, easier, like an easier task to push forward doing. That's what we got to do.
So how tough was it going from Kansas to that game so slippery, extended plays?
Yeah, he obviously does a great job of eluding guys, all DBs, linemen, whatever. He's got some special talent, and I thought we did a lot of good things, coverage-wise, rush-wise. He got out a few times, extended some plays, which is like you just kind of know that will happen, and you can't get frustrated. And overall, I thought we did a pretty decent job. We could obviously get better.
Does it feel like there's small margin for error here with this team right now?
One small thing. Yeah, it's the reality of it. You lose the turnover battle 2-0, and still leading the game with under a minute left. So there's a lot of good play there. We just got to find a way to start a little faster and flip the turnover script.
Thank you.
We've certainly seen him use his athleticism to make some plays as well, but to me it comes down to a lot of core principles of just consistently every snap, whether it's number 1 all the way to however many we got today, 54, which isn't enough, but 1 through 54. We control what we can from a standpoint of techniques and fundamentals and our decision making.
Did you see any trouble with his fundamentals in Michigan? Is this something that came about sitting out a year? Or?
No, I think it's just, I think the element of, moving forward into, an NFL offense and just the types of throws, the tighter hashes, the more space in the middle of the field. The game's different, but no, I thought some of his most impactful plays were on some of those weighty downs, and he's had some very impactful plays on those weighty downs for us as well. Just looking for the consistency factor to be, from a standpoint of just what is my job, what am I being asked to do, and when we start there and we check those boxes, there's normally been some good football that follows, and that's just the journey and the path of a young player learning that lesson and applying it as we move forward here.
On their kickoff return, did you just get out, have a guy out of his lane there? Or?
Yeah, I got to take a look at it. Those are always tough for me to judge. But yeah, that was a massive play in a day where the special teams units have had such a role in helping us win the field position battle. I mean, I think our average drive start was the 32, and there were some quality returns that contributed to that. I think we had one holding call that forced us to start a little bit backed up on a nice return by Miles. But then that one play, and it's just the nature of when you're losing the turnover battle and maybe you're leaving some plays out there, your margin of error becomes very razor thin for your whole team. And that just becomes each and every snap, no matter whether it's offense, defense, or in the kicking game, are massive. And one play that they make or one play that you don't could alter your chances of winning the game.
Does it feel like it's been harder to hang on to momentum, like either game to game or in that instance where you take the lead and one play later they had the momentum right back?
Yeah, you could feel it in the building, and you could feel the momentum. That's a great way to describe it. When JJ throws the touchdown to Jordan, 2-minute drill, as I told him earlier in the game, no matter what this day has been like, I'm going to tell you at the end of this, you just moved the ball down the field to help us win this game, and I'm proud of you. And I told him that. Just once again, the result didn't end up staying 17-16, and they beat us by making a play there, and then making the kick.
Absolutely sucks. Gut-wrenching loss for us. got to give credit to our opponent. They had a great game plan. They played really well in all three phases, and I need to do a better job of my decision making. The accuracy, it needs to change. I need to be better, and the overall execution of the offense. I need to be better on just doing my job at a higher level. So I'll open it up to any questions.
JJ, why do you think your accuracy is so off right now?
I think it's just growing. At the end of the day, there's a lot of things that I have to improve on, and accuracy is one of them. And I promise you, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and get ready to go to get working on that.
Is it tied to mechanics, you think, primarily?
Say that again?
Is it tied to your mechanics primarily?
There's a bunch of different things. I think mechanics is definitely a big part of it. And, I feel like, that's just always a work in progress with everything at the quarterback position. So just got to wake up tomorrow and get ready to get back to work.
And why do you think sometimes things click into place, particularly you've had some really good fourth quarters? I mean, it looked like you were right on in that last drive.
I think overall, just as an offense, I just need to do a better job of making sure the rhythm stays there throughout the entire 60 minutes. There's definitely things that we did well today, but how can we amplify those things and how could we eliminate the mistakes? And, I take full responsibility for those mistakes, and I got to make sure that we come out tomorrow ready to get better.
JJ, what were you telling yourself going out there for the last go-ahead drive?
It's just another drive. Obviously, it's do or die in that moment, but just how can I remain poised, remain present, and just worry about the little things like my footwork and my fundamentals, and take it each play by each play, and we'll see where we get at the end of it. So, that was just the thought process.
JJ, there was a point, I think it was in the third quarter when you missed a pass to Justin, I think, and it was third down, and you ran up the field here. So what was kind of going through your mind at that point?
You just can't miss those. This league's too hard. There's 3 or 5 decisions, plays that I want back more than anything, and that's one of them. It's an opportunistic concept against an opportunistic defense, and I have to deliver. So I put that completely on me, obviously.
Did it feel like some of the missed throws started to snowball at a certain point for you?
I never really felt the snowball just because I'm worried about that next throw, and I flushed the one that happened previously. But, at the end of the day, whether it's, 5 in a row, 2 in a row, 1 time, I just can't have it. This league is too hard, and I got to be able to make those throws.
JJ, was your hand at all any issue today?
No excuses. Not an issue at all. It was fine.
JJ, is the mechanic stuff, are you focusing on this more than maybe you thought you would have to at this point?
No, I wouldn't say it's more than I thought or expected. It's something that I've done my entire life, and it's just in the NFL, it's that 1 to 2%, difference that really makes the biggest impact. So it's just about the consistency of it is the biggest thing.
JJ, on your first interception, you had a guy at your legs. Did that impact your throw, or did you not see the guy undercut it there?
I wasn't able to put everything I wanted on it, but obviously with the rotating safety and playing 2 over the top, just have to be aware of that guy and realize we have a flat element tying him down, but coming from depth, it's going to be really hard for him to get tied down by a running back. So just being aware, another great learning lesson against a coverage like that, and should just check the ball down to C.J. Ham and kept it moving.
JJ, how hard is it to keep this patience in the game, but also big picture, confident in yourself, knowing with Kevin O'Connell there could be better things down the road, but how hard is that for you as a competitor to just stay that course?
I don't think it's too hard for me because I'm obsessed with the process. I'm obsessed with growing and getting better. And, KO's the same way. This entire group's the same way. We just need to make it click on all 3 phases for 60 minutes. And at the end of the day, this group is so tight-knit and so determined to just make sure we get to that point. Something we could be proud of every single Sunday when we leave the stadium. So we're not there yet, especially as an offense, and take full responsibility to help make sure we get there.
JJ, you had so much success in high school and college, and you have some bumps in the road here now. How do you process kind of the adversity that you just face on the field here now?
I think adversity is one of the greatest things for individual growth, collective growth, whatever it is. And, I think it could really separate teams or bring them tighter together. And I feel like this team's being brought tighter and tighter together each and every week. But, we're just sick of losing. We want wins every single week, and we're just going to do everything we can to make sure we get those. But adversity is inevitable in this league. I understood that coming into it, and it's just about how you respond.
On the final drive, was there something from a technical standpoint that was clicking for you that wasn't early in the game?
I just feel like it really wasn't anything different. I felt extremely prepared going into this game. I felt super dialed in physically. It's just, something I need to really figure out to make sure I keep this thing rolling for 60 minutes consistently. And it's just, the way we can operate as an offense when it does look like that is a lot of fun and something that we're all striving for each and every drive.
What went through your mind when you heard boos?
Say that one more time.
When you heard boos, what went through your mind?
We got the greatest fans in the world, and they expect a lot more out of us, and rightfully so. And I feel like, it's just a reminder to us that we better get going and we better figure this out. And, obviously, we don't got a whole lot of games left, so the urgency is at an all-time high. But, we just got to be better for the fans, especially at home.
JJ, is it instinctual for you when you're in those 2-minute drill situations? Do you feel like you kind of lock in a little bit more and you're able to just play football better?
I feel like it's the same mental process going into each and every drive. But obviously, 2-minute situation, it's a little bit different. How they're going to play it, how they're going to call it, and just being able to rely on the preparation that I had going into it during those situations, because I spent an extensive amount of time on end of half, end of game situations like that. So it was really just the preparation coming to fruition, but we got to make it come together on all 3 phases. And that's it.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.